What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode from Pop Culture Corner. Today, we are coming to you live with a report and review of Shang Chi. But first, we want to thank everyone for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And also, don't forget to leave your comments. Become a member. Go the extra mile and leave a super chat. We appreciate it all. And with that, let's get the show started. What is up, everybody, and welcome to Pop Culture Corner. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are so excited because we have a fun show planned for you guys today, and we can't wait to get started. But with that, we want to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who is reporting live from the theater. Ladies and gentlemen, Ty, live from the theater at Showcase. What is up, my guy? How are you doing?
Not much, man. Just got out of the movie, man. I'm feeling good. I feel like I could take on a dragon or two.
Right.
I got some kung fu in me as well.
Oh, whoa! You just got the moves and everything. Wow, all right, I like it.
Yeah, man. I'm actually Shang Chi. You didn't know that?
Right. No, actually, I didn't realize that was your alter ego. I thought you were more a Steve Rogers guy, but Shang-Chi took the cake, huh?
Yeah, man. Today I'm feeling more like Shang-Chi than ever. Listen, I had a really good time with that movie. It was very refreshing.
Yes.
But before we get into that, because we're gonna do a spoiler-free 35 minutes and then probably a 30-minute spoiler. But I want to say thank you to all the members of the channel.
Yes.
Maybe Austin, if you could pull that up. We got Saggy Melons, Benson's, Prakash, DC Talk, That One Carlos, Resident Justice, Billy Robert, Nick Carr, John Rodell, Justin Irons, Kinky Sphincter, best name in the world, Sean Adame, Nick DePalma, Roblox, Marvel Ultimate, and Adam Silvestri. Thank you guys so much for being members. You guys are truly the heroes of the channel. Not all heroes wear capes, but you guys sure do.
That's right.
But yeah,
with that, did you want to say hi to a couple people in the chat too, Ty? There we go.
There's
we got
Integrity.
Adam.
Finally.
Hey,
Integrity.
Hey. Yes.
Listen.
There we go.
Integrity. I want you to know that we do. I'm gonna make him a moderator now, but I just want to let Integrity know that I do love him, man, and that we appreciate everything that you do on a regular basis. You're always a beacon of optimism. So, never don't come here just because, someone in the comments, we'll always do what's right. And I'm sorry that I failed you before.
Yes. And we apologize. And we're so happy to have you back. Integrity, we all love you. We love you here. I get excited every time I see you in the chat. I've missed you, man. I've missed you the last couple of weeks. So it's good to see you.
Dude, it was popping here today.
Yeah.
Lots of people behind me. I don't know if you can. Well, actually, not right now, but you can't see them right now. But all the showings just started for 4 or 6, whatever, 6:30. But this place was jam packed about a minute ago with people getting their sodas or whatever. It was awesome to see little kids running around. Although there was a little kid that was sitting in front of me and he kept standing up on his chair, and I was like, ah!
I feel that. I know exactly what you mean. But no, that's good, man. So you saw it around 4:00 your time. I saw it last night in IMAX, and that theater was sold out.
I want to talk about that. I do want to talk about your showing as well, simply because of what you told me. Unfortunately, here, I only got the Eternals.
You didn't get a No Way Home trip?
No, so let's talk about the trailers real quick. So
yeah,
I got a Jackass trailer.
I got a Jackass trailer.
And Eternals trailer.
Yeah.
There's like a Matt Damon movie trailer for
I didn't
Stillwater.
Didn't get that. I got No Time to Die.
And No Time to Die. Yes, that was the other one. And so and then I got an extended Eternals trailer. But I mean, you talked to me last night. We went live with a report, and I do want to talk about something that you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe you can let us in on your little secret.
You want me to? Okay, yeah. So look, it kind of like you said, right? You saw an extended Eternals trailer. It's not past Disney that when you go to an IMAX screening or like one of these, you pay a little extra. They give you something a little extra. And I didn't expect anything when the No Way Home trailer started. I just was happy to see that like in IMAX. I love seeing that in the big screen, right? And what's up, Andrew? Always good to see you, Andrew. Andrew heard Spider-Man. He shows up. I love it. But No Way Home trailer starts. The exact same trailer that came out a couple weeks ago plays. Only difference is it's in IMAX ratio. So those black bars on the trailer that came out a week or two ago are gone. You see the full picture. You see everything. And I don't know if Eternals or not Eternals. Shang Chi was shot entirely in IMAX ratio. Like
it looks great.
For me, the whole movie was IMAX. So I'm wondering, okay, maybe that's now the new thing that Spider-Man's all in IMAX, and so we missed a lot in that trailer. So you see in the IMAX shot, right? The much talked about forearms scenes that the person that throws down those pile of papers in front of Peter in the interrogation room, and all you see is his forearm and the white shirt and all that. In our IMAX showing, you see the full shot, right? You see they show the face, and it was Charlie Cox. Like, it was so undeniably Charlie Cox. The moment it happened, and when you go watch the trailer, right, it's fast. They show it, and then it's gone. It's like a blink and you miss it. But me and my friends, I went with two of my friends. We all went, like, I had one on this side and one on the other. I was like I was like, did I imagine something? Did I? And they were like, no, that was. And so I was freaking out about it. Of course, I immediately texted you guys. Now here's the thing, right? It wasn't him in costume. No, it was him as
lawyer Matt Murdock.
Yeah, lawyer Matt Murdock. There were a couple but look, the 5 o'clock shadow was undeniable. His eyes were staring, forward while he was putting the papers down. It was the kind of, so for me, I was like, okay, that was him. I texted you guys, and of course, Shang-Chi is going through, and I'm thinking, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm losing it. Maybe I'm like, I really want Matt Murdock to be in this movie. And then the movie ends, and I decide, I had like a ton of people sitting around me, and I straight up I stood up, and I was like, hey, for anybody that knows, did you see what I saw in the No Way Home trailer? 8 people were all like, yep, we saw that. That was it. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm not.
Some people are saying it's like a hard look-alike.
That's a pretty damn good hard look-alike. And I don't understand what. Look, I think like I said, I think it was him, man. I think that's definitely him. I did find a couple people on Twitter that were tweeting on Brandon Davis's account that they.
I know, I saw. But I also saw some tweets that said, if you're going to IMAX, you'll see a special treat.
Yes.
In the No Way Home trailer.
Yes.
So, dude, hey, listen. Did you watch my video last night?
I did. Yes. And I went on Jarbo to defend it afterwards.
I said, I believe Austin. I really do. He's one of the few people that I don't think is an idiot. I believe him. So I'm gonna run with this. I'm gonna run with this, whatever. And I'm gonna be the first one to say it. And I was. So hopefully it pans out, Austin, or your reputation is gone.
Right. Yeah. That's why I said last night on Driver. I was like, look, I'm holding out, and I'm like, if not, I'll be making a real big apology and taking a big vacation in December. But we'll be but until then, no. And then again this morning, right? My friend texted me, and he's like, dude, I've been looking on Twitter and I've been looking on Reddit and all this, and he's like, I think we're right, man. But it's just. It was such a shock. I did not expect him to reveal the face, and I was like, you just didn't expect that. But at the same time, that's not the first time Marvel has done things like that in an IMAX showing or an IMAX special, you know, those types of things. They sometimes do. I mean, did you see anything extra with Eternals? Like anything interesting?
Am I lagging right now?
Much lag.
Yeah, the theater doesn't have internet, so I'm running on like cell phone service, guys.
Yeah.
So bear with me. But no, not really much extra in the Eternals trailer. Like there was, like you can see the villagers a little bit more, and I saw a little bit more dialogue. But other than that, it was a little bit extended. It wasn't crazy. It was just maybe a couple extra shots. But I was kind of disappointed. I wanted to see that Spider-Man trailer.
Yeah, dude, I'm kind of surprised that, and you know what? That's another thing that I've been reading on Twitter is not every IMAX or big screen, large format screen, showing is showing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. It's a really, I mean, that kind of also seems like another Marvel thing to do, right? Like we'll just kind of drop it in a few places and let people freak out about it until December and not say a word, and then, you know. And also, funny enough, the day before, Charlie had that big old video where he's like, "Yep, those aren't my forearms." But he did seem pretty shaky and mysterious and kind of like,
he was very coy.
Yeah.
Very, very coy. But I mean, enough about Spider-Man: No Way Home. I mean, we're here for Shang Chi.
Yes, but I did want to say this. No, Adam, he did not deny that he's in Spider-Man: No Way Home. He said those are not his forearms. But he, in fact, when he was asked about Spider-Man: No Way Home, he said, "I wouldn't want to say either way." So he never denied or confirmed. He just said, "I wouldn't want to say either way."
He said it's not his forearms.
He did say those are not his forearms. Yes.
It could be a stand-in. There's so many ways to go around that phrase, right? Like when they do shots like that, sometimes they'll have a stand-in there just to get the forearm shot, you know what I mean, while they're powdering up Charlie for the next sequence with his face. Like there's a lot of filming techniques that they use, especially with a character like Charlie Cox. If they're reintroducing him, they're going to want to do it right. And I mean, I believe you. I do. I believe that you saw him.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Shang-Chi. Do you want to say, what did you give Shang-Chi for a score of 1 to 10?
I liked it a lot. I think it's probably out of 10. It's a solid 7.9.
Dude, I gave it an 8.0.
Wow, 8 on the nose. 8.
Yeah, on the nose, 8. It hit all my marks. Like
yes,
it hit every one of my marks. Like I thought this was a way better kung fu movie than Mortal Kombat. Like so much better.
Oh yeah, and this didn't even have gore.
Yeah, the choreography in this film was, I mean, they dialed it in for it, and
yes,
and I mean, Awkwafina she can get a little too much.
I'd say the first 30 minutes, she's a little, but then something happens, and thank God she takes a step back. And I'm cool with her for the rest of the film after the first 30 minutes. We were talking a little bit about it before, actually, what happened. And I was like, that kind of set her in her place a little bit. But
Right. But overall, I think it was a beautifully shot movie.
Yes.
I really liked the dynamic between Shang-Chi and his father. The hostility that was there, but like also this beautiful backstory of like him being raised in a way that no boy should be raised.
Right.
Seeing his mother, you know, or whatever, seeing whatever, you know, in family tragedy, and then having to live that life throughout this film. Like we see flashbacks of his past, and like, you know, it's as far as origin stories go, it's a very, very good origin story.
Yep. Very good. And you know, compared to, like, I'll be honest, they should have started Phase 4 theatrically with Shang-Chi, not with Black Widow. Because Black Widow, you know, was, I don't know where Black Widow should have gone. Honestly, maybe it should have just gone to Disney Plus exclusively.
I said that a long time ago.
Because it's just so far outside of what's happening now. And Shang Chi just pulls you back in to this phase 4 and what's going on now. And I absolutely
and it does take place after Endgame.
Yes,
it does.
Yes,
it does take place after Endgame.
They do mention, like we're living in a world where millions of people just disappear, for years. So they do little subtle references like that that let you know, okay, this is post Endgame. But I'll be honest, man, it was a big surprise. I talked a lot about this movie and kind of thinking, with it being an origin story, I don't know if that's the right move for Marvel to make going this far in phase 4. I thought maybe we may be past theatrical origin stories, but they really did a good job with this. Like you said, the choreography was so stylish and really unlike any. It truly was like any. Look, I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of kung fu movies, but it was unlike any kung fu movie I'd seen in that the fighting was still fighting, but there was this danceness to it. Like there was almost like a dance, and it was
the Tao Lo or whatever it's called. Their form, like it did pay homage to its predecessors in like Bruce Lee films and movies like that, where it was very kung fu heavy. They paid homage when they needed to, but they also brought in their like a new style because again, it's in a world with mystical elements and other things, and we'll get to that in the spoiler segment. But you know what I mean? Bruce Lee movies were very like just kung fu, like it was just kung fu. But now they're mixing the kung fu with like mystical elements. So it's going to be different naturally. But the Tao Lo, the way they fight is very much. I definitely understand what you're saying about the dancing. It felt like more of a dance, and
but it was still fighting. It was still fighting. Right?
It was amazing.
It was incredible. It really was.
Difference. You can see the difference in like the 10 Rings army. They close fists, and the Tao Lo open. Right? It's all open-handed. So, like, you know what I mean? There was, like, a yin and yang to it. It was kind of, like, the 10 Rings were more brutal, whereas the Tao Lo were more spiritual, connected, but light, but fierce when they needed to be. And I think that was a good combination.
Yeah, I agree. And, another thing, too, that you mentioned was this was a Marvel movie that, for me, had me interested. For the first time in a while, I'd say since probably Black Panther, had me interested in the villain. Again, with it being that father-son relationship, just the way that they play that, because I love those villainous characters, right? Where they're bad guys, but you do feel empathy for him. This was a man that was a bad person. Things happened and tragedy struck him, and the events of his life kind of turn him into, and so I think there's an empathy for him too. And at the end, with his goal and what he's trying to do, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but what he's trying to do, even there, right? You feel for him because he's trying to do what he thinks is the right thing, and I love those types of characters. I'm glad that Marvel's starting to make more interesting villains like that, and make people think a little bit more like, okay, this guy isn't just a bad guy. He's not just a murderer, just a gangster, a leader, or a terrorist. There's more to him, and there's reasonings, and I really loved what they did with that relationship.
Yeah, listen, Adam Burke asks about Abomination. Now, listen, I don't think that didn't look like Abomination to me.
Oh, that was Abomination, and they've said, Marvel has said that is Abomination.
It didn't look like the same character as...
They straight up said he evolved. That their excuse is that he's evolved.
Okay, because I was super confused because I was waiting for that sequence with Abomination, and then they gave me this green fish, but he was huge. Right. And he looked more like a fish than Abomination.
Right. That was the thing. They're saying he evolved, basically. And I don't know how. I don't know when they're going to explain that or why, but...
There's a lot of things that I like. There's a lot of things that I can't remember the director's name, but the director definitely took some artistic liberties in some places that, like, for one, there's one at the end of the movie, and then there's the Abomination one where I was like, wait a second. It just doesn't look right to me. And,
Right.
That kind of took me out of it a little bit, but then the storyline brought me right back in. Because you're right. I did feel empathy for the Mandarin, and I did understand his path and why he was going down it. But then you also realize, like, no, this is not the right path, sir.
No, this no good. You can't do this. No. But Benson said, is the fighting, and I'll be honest, Benson, I've only seen the Raid of these two films. So is the fighting similar to the Raid or Crouching Tiger? Cheers. Cheers,
my friend.
Cheers. Don't worry, guys. It's just soda.
Yeah, I don't drink.
But is the fighting similar to the Raid or Crouching Tiger or Hidden Dragon Crouching Tiger? I would say there's some moments similar to the Raid. A clip that everybody's seen is that scene when they're by the skyscraper outside, fighting on the. So definitely some similarities there. I have not seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I don't know if you have, Ty. I know I've seen some people on the internet mention that some of the fight sequences are reminiscent of that.
There's both.
Okay.
There's a little of both, because like you get sequences like when they're on the side of the building, right, which was amazing, right? But then you get sequences like when Shang Chi is fighting his father at the end, which are very much hand-to-hand fights, but like they're not, you know what I mean? There's not like this, I don't know, they're different. They're different in their nature. So there was definitely a little bit of both. There was a lot of Bruce Lee. I felt a lot of Bruce Lee in it. So like I said earlier, I think it paid homage when it needed to, but it also had its own style when needed, because again, we have to remember where we are and what world we're in, right?
Exactly.
So we're in the Marvel universe. I thought the creatures and the way they brought you into this world, it was unlike any other origin story that I've ever seen. Like it wasn't Captain America origin. It wasn't an Iron Man origin. And listen, I'll tell you right now, they do tie back into the Iron Man thing, and we figure out what the hell is going on with that.
And it's fan-freaking-tastic.
Yes. I was not expecting that a certain character to be there for that long.
It was great. I'll be honest, and that's so funny, Ty, that you said that, because I said the same exact thing to my friend after the movie. It was over. I'm like, I'm so glad they kept him in it. It was so good.
He was in it for the whole time.
And I was like, he becomes the little
scene where he's there's a scene where at the end where he's like pretending he's dead, and I was dying laughing. I almost pissed myself.
Yeah, that one could not have, just that whole thing. And we'll obviously, once we hit the 35-45 minute mark, we're gonna talk about it for the people that have seen it, because it's just too good. I love this. Mark said, "How many gallons are in those drinks? The portions in the U.S. blow my mind. I think it's about 8 to 9 gallons." Something like that. No, I'm kidding.
No,
you ever seen Parks and Rec where they have
this is probably half a gallon.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
elongated, but it's skinny. It just like kind of looks big from the angle, but it's just a regular, but it's long. So, but this popcorn, on the other hand, is definitely a gallon.
That's a gallon, and it's worth every
gallon.
Oh my gosh, dude. I love movie theater popcorn. I just love it so much, dude.
Shout out to Showcase again, as always, for letting us be here and take over conference room B.
Right.
Shout out for letting us do this and be here, talk to our friends live at the theater. I mean, I literally just watched the movie right before this showing, so it's fresh in my mind. I'm going to eat some popcorn. But, I mean, this movie, man, like I said, now, could you see Shang Chi being a part of the new Avengers team later on in phase?
Abso-freaking-lutely. And I think that's
I think he's going to be such a good addition to the Avengers.
Yes. He is. And it's great because he does absolutely earn his place. For those of you that think that he's just like his superpowers are just really good at fighting or strong, they do give him some added things in there that really make him stand up with some of the higher up Avengers, actually. And I'm actually really excited to see where that's going to lead. But yeah, I think there's a big bright future, I think, for Shang Chi, and I think this was such a great, like you said, origin story. It was so different because this wasn't an origin story where you're seeing somebody get their powers necessarily. In fact, the movie starts off where he's already been through a lot of his training and all that stuff, and that was very fresh to me to not have to go through like a whole 30-40 minute like scenes or part of the film, act of the film that was just, and they did it so well in flashbacks and in little moments with lines and interactions with different characters.
Yes.
That explained it enough without having to make it feel like we have to show you the whole thing,
Exactly. And I think it was
Mark, thank you so much, Mark. You're the best.
What does it say? I can't read it from there.
Mark, with the super chat, a little contribution to your cause tonight. Really love this channel. You guys are great, including Jiving with Jack and Caiden. I believe you guys can have butter on your popcorn to ensure your arteries are truly blocked. Thank you, Mark. That is much appreciated. Thank you so much. And guys, don't forget you can send a super chat, join the membership, like, share, and subscribe this video. All that support, it means the world to us. We do this for fun. We love what we do. Ty came up with this brilliant idea a long time ago of doing these shows live from the theater. And it's, for us, man, it's just a lot of fun. And we get to just share the enjoyment with you guys. And, things like that, your contributions only let us get to do things, better. And maybe we'll one day get a router for the theater for Ty so we can get some, that's what those contributions will go to.
That's actually the plan.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so that's actually the plan, is to get internet installed for just us, but we have to pay for it. So again, guys,
thank you.
He's not lying. Yeah, he's not lying and saying that like any of your contributions, like they don't just go to like a pocket of ours. They go towards they get put back into the show so that we can do it better and do it bigger each time. So yes, I did come up with this idea a long time ago, and we presented the idea to Showcase Cinemas. Actually, we presented the idea first to AMC, and they turned us down.
They missed
out. Then we went, and then I went to Showcase, which is a more local theater, but it's still one of the 5th largest chains in the United States. I went to them and I said, hey guys, here's the deal. We want to help you promote getting back to the theater. Like, look, I'm here with no mask. I feel comfortable here. Yes, I'm in a room alone, but also out there, I don't walk around with a mask. Thank you, Roblox.
Yes, thank you.
I feel comfortable enough to be here. And I think the theaters, especially like Showcase, are taking steps to ensure guest safety. That's their number one priority. So I know I can't, Adam Burke, I think said it, is he's not ready to go back to the theater. And listen, that's okay. Like you need to be comfortable to come back.
Yeah.
But I just want to show people that I'm, I'm willing to be here. And I haven't gotten sick yet. So, fingers crossed. But truly they are taking steps to ensure guest safety. And they're doing their best, just like everyone else. So
definitely my theater, my 30s. It was great to see actually some people come in and start cleaning the theaters like pretty fast afterwards and stuff. And I'm very happy because look, personally, right, I have a lot of, I take care of my grandfather. I have some pre-existing medical conditions and stuff. And so I have to be cautious, but also at the same time, man, I love the movies. I can't not go see these things in theaters. It's very hard for me to if I would have to watch these things on the screen. And so I'm very, very happy that these theaters are doing the right thing and taking the precautions and trying to keep everybody as as safe as possible. But with that, Mark said the AMC turned us down after getting their fingers burned by John Shithouse Campia, which that's honestly, probably right. That's probably right. That's honestly 100% right.
The guy from Showcase and we've talked about that before, and how we could do something similar to what, because originally John Campia started his movie thing with AMC, and it was called AMC Movie Talk. Right. And then yes, he did burn them, and then I think he went to that's where Collider came from. So yes, that's what we want to try to be, and that's what we want to try to do. Except we don't want to burn our bridges, and we don't want to burn anyone that's been nice to us, because we're not John Campia. And that, he's got a big, large platform. I respect the guy. He's the one who really started. He's like the grandfather of movie podcast or movie talk. So, I mean, much respect to the guy, but I also don't have respect for people that do that kind of stuff. That's a different story for a different day. But that's definitely the goal is to try to be something like that. But and we can only do that with you guys' help. So make sure to share the show so that we can get some other people in here as well. I know it's weird on opening day. Not everyone's seen it, and they they want to wait until they've seen it. But I thank everyone for being here and
exactly.
being
guys,
part of the show.
Once you have seen the show, don't forget to come back and share the video again, and let everybody know that you have that has seen the movie to come back and watch and get in the comments. After the video is done, and leave their comments on what they thought of the film as well. We love to interact with you guys in the comments and talk to you guys as much as possible. But Benson said that he's going to see it on Sunday night. The IMAX near me is the largest in Europe. That's pretty cool. Now that's a theater I would like to go to. The largest IMAX screen in Europe.
Yeah, that's so I have the largest IMAX screen in the United States in North Reading.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah, I've talked about it many times before. It's one of 8 theaters it's one of 8 standalone IMAX theaters that have the capabilities that it does. It's truly me and my brother are actually going there on next week to see this again, because he's gonna wait to see it.
I was gonna say, if you would have gone there, that one probably would have shown the No Way Home trailer.
No, they do. They get all that stuff. It's IMAX branded, and it's an amazing theater. It's really X Plus is great. I love X Plus. I think we have a picture of the X Plus logo in there somewhere. If you want to bring that up.
Let me see if he put that.
Did he upload it?
Actually, no, I don't think he did.
Caiden, not doing your job.
Yeah, okay. Slow clap for Caiden, everybody.
Congratulations, Caiden. Thank you for uploading that picture for me. I really appreciate that. Really.
Let me see if I can get it on here real quick.
No, it's okay. You're good. But we're almost in that time frame. We're at the 33-minute mark, so we can kind of transition over to the spoiler part of the show. So maybe if you want to play the low-key thing or something, just to separate it.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right. All right, so we're back, and we're ready to talk some spoilers.
Yes,
so guys,
yes.
This is your chance. If you haven't seen Shang Chi yet, and you don't want to hear any spoilers, for the next 30 minutes, we're probably going to be talking a little bit into the spoilers, and I mean, we're not going to get too heavy into it, but we're not going to give away the plot points or anything. But I want to talk about a few scenes. So this is your chance now. Jump out. And then come back after you watch the film. 3, 2, 1. All right.
Spoilers!
First things first.
Let's get into it.
First things first. I do want to talk about the after credit sequence.
Okay. Yeah.
So Bruce shows up in the after credits. but he's Bruce. What is going on?
I thought that was a nice little. I thought that was a nice little shock. It kind of catches you off guard because you forget for a moment that he's supposed to be in full Hulk. Yeah, he's supposed to be in Hulk.
Why is he Bruce?
My guess is he's there talking with Juan, and Captain Marvel, who's the last person I expected to show up in the end credits of this film. And of course, Juan, I kind of figured, look, he probably was talking to the sorcerers, had some help in,
but he looks
switching back.
He looks much older. He was kind of thicker.
But he does has his arm is still injured.
Yes.
Just like Hulk. I mean, look, I think I think it's probably gonna be explained, in the She-Hulk stuff. We know he's gonna be in She-Hulk. We know he's gonna be appearing in Moon Knight. We know he's going to be they're probably going to do what they were trying to do in the movies in making his story, but on the Disney shows and continuing his story in different. And this was just the first little surprise. That's going to come later,
I just don't think you should have done that in that form because, I mean, I don't know if it was a cost issue, cost for CGI to make him Professor Hulk. Or Smart Hulk, whatever you want to call him. But also, when you're a director and you're coming in and you're directing a new solo film, I don't think you should take liberties like that. Unless Kevin Feige...
I don't think that was his choice.
Unless Kevin Feige came in and said, listen, Bruce is going to be Bruce. And we'll explain it later. Just don't even...
That's exactly what I think happened. I don't think he would... I don't think he would come in, and just be like, oh, you're not Hulk anymore. I mean, because he talked about, that Feige gave him certain rules and certain things that, he did have to set up certain things. He couldn't. He wanted to use Doctor Strange. He couldn't use Doctor Strange in the movie, and stuff like that. So, I do think that was one of those things that Feige was like, throw that in there, and we'll hint at it later. We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
And you know what? Another explanation I heard that I thought, okay, that makes sense is they would have had to bring him Ruffalo back somehow because I don't think he would just show up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a CG character. He'd want to have some scenes as Bruce still,
I don't know, man. I mean, once you make that change, it's hard to go back. That's all I'm saying. And
yeah.
It took him 5 years to get to be. It took him 5 years of research to mix the brain and the brawn together, and now all of a sudden he's back to being Bruce Banner. It just didn't sit well with me the way it happened. Literally in the theater, I'm like, wait, he's Bruce again? That's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, what the hell? It's just every time you look, Hulk is on a different we don't know what Hulk's doing here now. We see him in Endgame, and he's always obvious. Now he's all of a sudden Professor Hulk. Then we see him here, and now he's back to being Banner. And it's dude, I can't even keep up with it. How many times he changes. But I mean, it's nice to see Wong getting screen time and getting to be in these movies more and more and more. We literally just saw him in What If, and now he's here again. And he's a good character. I love him.
Yeah.
Wong for me, I don't know. He's a side character, but he's also he's good at what he does. So that's where we see the Abomination thing is Wong is fighting him, but then after we see that, are they friends or something?
Right. I guess I don't know. Maybe they know each other. Benson. So it does take place after the events of Endgame. My theory is that where you see Juan going in the trailer for No Way Home is where we end up seeing him here in Shang Chi. That's where he is. So I think it's somewhere in that. And it's after Endgame. It's kind of happening where around. Honestly, I think No Way Home, Far From Home, Loki, Shang-Chi, all those things, WandaVision are basically all happening around the same time within a week, 2 weeks, or at the most a month of each other. And I think that they're trying to say something there because everything's gonna all meet up and break loose. I think in the multiverse, but so it's somewhere there. But yeah, dude, Juan was so great in this. He was the unexpected little side character because when he fights Abomination, there's this great part after he defeats Abomination, and then the entire audience is going Juan, and I was like, he's a real fight. Like he's been there before. He's been doing this a couple times. I was like, let's go.
How he does it makes money.
Shout out,
so he can get his tuna.
Exactly. Shout out to my boy Zach DC. That's one of the members of Comic Nerd Rave right there. That's gonna be coming back soon. Love that guy. That was the guy. So Zach, that's the boy that I looked at last night. That when we saw Matt Murdock in No Way Home, that we were like that was him. So shout out Zach. Much love. Good to see you. So
Zach, can you confirm that it was Charlie Cox or is Austin being crazy?
Yeah, Zach will confirm. Zach, confirm for me, buddy. Don't leave me hanging here.
But the other thing I wanted to talk about was Trevor Slattery.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, I was gonna say, did you hear that?
Got some crazies behind me.
Right, you got some people excited for. Look at that! Isn't it great to see people excited back at the theater again?
She was kind of cute too. Yeah. Maybe she probably thinks I'm famous because there's lights and stuff that are pointed at me right now, and I got two screens in front of me plus that. Right. No. So they bring Trevor Slattery back in a way to try to connect, so try to make up for what they did in Iron Man. And I thought what they did was pretty smart because they tied it together. So that it's kind of weird. So the Ten Rings Army has been around for centuries, right? And they've toppled governments. They've infiltrated countries. They're the shadow killers, yada, yada. And you're sitting there like, wait, so how is this going to tie in, yada, yada? And then all of a sudden, we see Trevor Slattery trapped in a lockup room. In a cell, yes, thank you. And,
a very nice cell, mind you.
Yeah, he's still in that entertainer mode. He's still, dude. So talk about Trevor Slattery a little bit.
Okay, this had me and my friends.
For people that don't remember, he's the Mandarin, the fake Mandarin from Iron Man.
So yes, he plays the fake Mandarin, the terrorist from Iron Man 3, and then it's revealed at the end of Iron Man 3 that it was really just an actor posing, becoming this fake terrorist using the name Mandarin. And in fact, there's a really great story in the film Shang Chi where Wenwu talks about how America was terrified of an orange. That a name means a lot. It's actually really, really cool how they explained that. So they're put into a cell, Shang Chi and his friends, his sister, and Awkwafina's character, and you're introduced again to Trevor, who's sitting there just basically acting to a mirror, and what you think for a second he's full on crazy, which he already was, but now he's full on mad, and basically he's like, well, you see, I was an actor, I played this terrorist, your father found me, he wasn't very happy, so he locked me in here, and right before they were gonna kill me, I gave the most impressive Macbeth performance that just had everybody. And dude, as soon as he said that, I started crying, laughing. I was like, oh my! And then he ends it with, and ever since then, I've been performing every week. I was like, you have got to be freaking kidding me.
This dude's the luckiest son of a bitch that there ever was. He almost died 97 times.
And it's great.
But the crazy thing is then he takes the ride with us till the end of the movie.
He's in it till the end, and like you said, there's a part where in the big battle, they're going through the bodies and stuff, and he has this little creature, Morris, that is just, I want one. It's like this base.
It's a chicken pig.
It's a furry butt, basically walking butt with wings, and it's just hilarious. And Morris, walks up to Trevor and is crying and Trevor goes, "Get down, Morris! I'm acting. Play dead. Do it with me." And he's like, "Get down here!" Oh my god! But yes, Zach confirms. I looked at Austin because I thought I was growing crazy, but the rest of the people in our section were also convinced it was him. Yeah, you can confirm or deny, Zach. You know you can.
Yeah, he says I can't confirm nor deny.
He can confirm. Don't do that to me on a live stream, Zach. You know that was me. Oh,
it's not confirming.
That is he confirmed it last night. I can confirm with words that he confirmed it last night.
No, but I really did like the addition and how they tied it back and made it make sense. Because now the Mandarin, now what you see in Iron Man, like you can kind of like rub it off now, and it doesn't bother you as much now that the actual story's been told in the right way,
right,
and in tremendous fashion. I was so refreshed after Shang Chi. I was like, I went outside to make a call, and I was just thinking, I'm like, this has got to be one of the better origin stories I've seen in Marvel. Absolutely. Like it really is. It's one of the better stories. Like you're engaged the whole time. After an hour, I was like, damn, we still have an hour and a half left. I was like, there's no way. By that time, you've already gotten so much story and dialogue, but also these choreographed action sequences. Yeah. Like it was crazy.
Yes, and what's the Benson says or Mark says? What's the reason for bringing Trevor back? Honestly, I think it's to make good on how on the bad taste that was left in people's mouth in Iron Man 3.
That's all it was.
It was one of those things that was kind of like I do think it had to be addressed, obviously, with what had happened. And they did it in a really good way, actually, in a very surprising and very in a way that I enjoyed. I really did not expect. And look, Ben Kingsley is always a welcome actor in any film in my book. I think he's phenomenal.
Probably, like Adam says here, it probably is a one and done though. I would be remiss if he shows up in the second Shang-Chi or in another film that of this caliber. I think it was their way of moving on from it.
Yes.
But Ben Kingsley is a great actor. And he's alive at the end of the movie, put it that way. You know what I mean? Yes. So
Mark says wants to know, what villain do you think this phase is leading to? That's a great question for this spoiler discussion.
The beacon in the 10 rings is calling out to someone.
To something.
Something, maybe. I don't know. And I think that's where we're getting. It kind of feels like the Infinity Saga where we're starting to see something now. Like, that's why at the end credit sequence, they're all together and they're like, this isn't dude, Wong is saying, I've never seen the 10 rings. I don't understand. They're not in our codex. We don't know what these are, but they're calling out to something. And that's our next. I think it's Galactus, dude.
I think it's Galactus. I don't think we'll see that until like phase 5. I think we're going to get some, just like, we had like Loki and some other filler villains. Ultron, I think we're going to get Cain. We are going to get, probably some other little filler villains. Even this ends with Shang-Chi's sister taking the head of the 10 rings, and it's saying the 10 rings will return. Not so. I think we're going to see some villains that lead up to Galactus.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, the only thing that makes sense is Galactus. If they're going on a large scale to try to top Thanos, they're gonna need to do something like Galactus.
Yes.
But so this is the start. It kind of feels like in the first Avenger when we find out that the stone is, you know what I mean? Like it's capable of doing these other worldly things. Right. And then, in Avengers, then at the end of Avengers, we see Thanos turn around and we know a little bit more about the stones. That's what this feels like. It's like the start of something. Yeah. And yes, we already know we're getting Kang. Kang is a villain that can keep you occupied for a whole phase because there's so many iterations of him, right? So then maybe we even get Doom in Fantastic Four, right? Doom would tie it all together with Galactus, right? So, and then maybe we're introduced to the Silver Surfer somehow. Like, dude, I cannot wait to see where Marvel goes.
I would say if that's where Marvel is going, I'd say like another solid 4 phases, right? That lead up to a massive multiversal battle with Galactus.
Yeah.
And then wipe the slate clean.
Start over,
new stories,
you got to think 4 phases. I mean, that's another 15 years. So honestly, by that time,
8 phases in total for that era.
I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with that. Start over, but tell a whole different set of stories. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that if they want to do something like that. But I mean, listen, I think that the Marvel is tapped into something that's just pure genius. They built a foundation, they played upon that foundation, and they've entertained all through it. So yeah, it sucks to like look across the pond and see that DC maybe hasn't, but I think that we're gonna get somewhere with DC as well. But Marvel, it's just like it's your adult son. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
They're there, baby. They're there, and they're killing it.
And look what kind of stories they can tell. Like they can tell a Shang-Chi story because they've already told the Captain America story. They've already told the Iron Man story. They've already told the Hulk stories. They knew they did it properly.
They did the core exactly.
Right. So now we get to see these other characters in these other branches, in these alternate realities, whatever it may be. And that's how you should do it, because we've had the original, we've had the core. Now we're building a nice trunk, and then we can start branching off, right? Whereas DC, they tried to build the branches without a foundation, without your roots. And that's where the problem lies, literally. And it's sad to see, but I mean, I want to see Doom. I know Marvel, with the acquisition of Fox, like Doom could be right around the corner. We know we're getting Kang, and Kang is a crazy villain because the Fantastic Four beat Kang after traveling back in time or something like that.
Yeah.
And they defeat Kang, and that's kind of what pisses him off to the people of Earth. Right, and the heroes of Earth.
The events in motion.
Yeah. So I want to see if that's what
if that's the first Fantastic Four film. I'll flip. I'll cry. Seriously, I'll be excited because I would love for them to do something like that, something that goes back but is very relevant. Black Widow. To what's going on in the current MCU. But I do want to talk a little bit about that big end battle. Wow. Dude, honestly, Lord of the Ring vibes a bit.
Super Lord of the Ring vibes on a smaller scale, because like the army that the Ten Rings has is smaller. The Tao Lo army, or I can't pronounce it right. It's a smaller scale. All of a sudden, 2 fucking dragons are fighting each other. Shang-Chi's on top of one of the dragons, on top of the thing. Like, the visuals were absolutely stunning.
They were. They really, the CGI and VFX for that whole, because that entirety of that probably last 30 minutes, it was like 80% CGI. You're talking dragons, you're talking demon-looking things, creatures, giant cat lions that you want to take home but might bite your head off. Like unicorn or horses that have the face of a dragon that look at you weird. It's like, I'm talking full-on mystical, fantastical, crazy stuff. A whole nother world that is.
Yes.
Wow, it really is. It's incredible.
Remember when we first entered Wakanda?
This felt exactly like that.
We entered a whole, like with entering Wakanda, we entered this whole new world.
Yes.
With this, we entered a whole new world of endless possibilities. Like there's a guy with 10 rings and he lives forever. And then we have magic horses and lions and dragons. Oh my. Like, this was mind-blowing. Like, we entered a whole new world with different creatures, birds. Like, the people, they're scaling up. They're putting their armor's made of dragon scale. Like, whoa. What are we doing here? It was this Lord of the Rings vibes. Yes, 100%. And in the way Shang Chi takes on this last battle, the way he defeats, because obviously Shang Chi defeats the villain
Right.
being his dad, but then
also
the immediate
creatures,
aftermath.
right?
Yes.
These creatures that have been entrapped by the Tao, that I also cannot pronounce, but but yeah, just like you said, that scene with his dad, that end fight with his dad, dude, it was so good, and it's there that you really feel the weight of this relationship between the two of them, that you really feel, because I think a lot of people will ask themselves, how what was the logic and again, not saying it was appropriate. The father was fully in the wrong, totally bad guy, all that. But after his mother, after his wife dies, after his wife passes away, and he loses,
he just goes on this crazy path.
But not only that, he even sees Shang-Chi differently. You see in that fight, and he says, he tells Shang-Chi, you stood and you watched your mother get killed.
Yeah, and
you see there's this anger, there is this resentment towards his own son, that he didn't do anything.
His son was 7 at the time. What was he gonna do?
Right.
What was he gonna do? Stand up to the 27 people that killed his wife? Like,
right.
Dude,
and it was another thing of him, reflecting the blame of him, because it was really his own fault. Those people came to kill him because of his actions from his past, and he needed something to reflect the blame onto someone else. He couldn't bear that the person that he cared so much and loved, died because of him. And because he had thought he'd done the right thing by putting the 10 rings away, by living a different life, becoming a family man and all that. And that dynamic, I thought was so beautiful and so interesting to add to the story. And that's why I'm saying it made for such a great. This was one of those few times that Shang-Chi's now up there with some of the best ranked villains, I think, in the MCU, because that story was just, it connected.
Dude,
it felt real.
When the soul sucker has his dad, right, and he's looking at his dad getting his soul sucked away, it flashes back to like him and his dad locking eyes at multiple different periods in their lifetime.
Yeah.
And the weight of it was so large because at that moment he forgets about that he's just fighting his dad to the death. He forgets about it all and then mourns him right there. It's just like, it's back and forth between dude, I gotta stop this guy, but I really don't want to. But he also trained me to be a killer. I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. Right. So it all circles back to the first thing that you said today is empathy, and it's a story of empathy. Mm-hmm. It's a whole story of empathy and sympathy and and tragedy almost, and that's what made it a touching and beautiful story to watch. Especially
and this movie went places I didn't expect. Dark wise, I didn't expect the Marvel movie to go. There were literal moments in that movie that I was like, okay, Marvel has to know now at this point they're losing their kid audience. Those the audience is soul suckers. Yes, those soul suckers. They ain't for kids. There is a giant, massive demon dragon thing at the end. That ain't for kids. That thing scared the living shite out of me. And the other thing is too, right? I was thinking when I was watching all that soul sucking, the little thing, I was like, and I wanted to ask you, do you think that's going to connect to Eternals? Because that thing looked a little bit like a deviant. And those, I mean, we've seen from the Eternals trailers, right? These things are flying. Eternals is the next film. I don't know if there's some connection as to whether maybe these people were, because they're mystical, they were the protectors of the gate that held some of these things in or something. But
I think it could potentially, but I'm not going to throw any hopes into there.
No hope, but I think a plausible theory.
I see where you're going with it. There's a potential for it. Yeah, they're ancient creatures. And the Eternals we know have been around for thousands and thousands of years. So yeah,
that's the other thing they mentioned. they mention is that the rings, it's thousands of years old. Who else in the MCU would know of something like that? So that's what another theory is. Maybe the Eternals had involvement in the 10 rings.
Yeah, that's potential. There is potential for it. I would love that little like in Eternals, if we get like a little backstory on what the Eternals have seen throughout their years, right. And that happens to come up or something, that would be so cool. I'm ready for the Deviants in another way, though. It'd be cool. It would be cool, but even if the thing's not a deviant and they were watching over what was happening just to ensure, because right. they don't step in, but they do oversee, right? So. It'd be interesting to see like all the events that the Eternals have witnessed or lived through, and at that moment they have to determine whether this is a deviant threat or not. So yes, that would be an interesting, because you look at that thing, you're like, oh, that thing's deviant.
Yeah, looking
right. So
deviant looking.
So maybe So I don't know. Maybe that'd be kind of cool. But we are at the hour mark. So if you wanna, again. I think Austin gave it a 7.9 out of 10. I gave it an 8.0 out of 10. Yeah. Not the best Marvel movie ever, but super strong origin story. Choreography off the chain. Cinematically beautiful. The CGI top of the line. I had a great time.
Yeah. It's an empowering story. It's a Marvel film that does make you think, which I appreciate. And it makes you think, and it's also a popcorn flick. That's what's the great thing about it is you're able to walk away from it and have a really good conversation, as we just did, about the motivations of the villain and things like that, and still also have a lot of fun and appreciate the incredible action that happens.
I'll be talking about this movie for like the next couple of days at least.
Yeah, it's really good. And also. We'll end it with this. Where does Shang Chi leave you in excitement for Eternals and for the rest of Marvel coming up? And after Black Widow, what's the level there in comparison?
Dude, Black Widow. Like, listen, I know everyone likes to shit all over Black Widow, but for me, Black Widow wasn't as bad as it did, but it didn't set anything up for me that like. Set the tone for the phase, right?
That had you anticipate set the tone. Anything.
Yeah, it set the tone for like Black Widow's,
for Taskmaster the movie, or
I don't even know where Black Widow left me, honestly, but this movie set the tone for the phase so well because now nothing is being held back. There's dragons, there's creatures, there's 10 rings that makes this dude eternal. Or not eternal.
Live. He does mention that he lives for eternity as long as he wears the rings.
Yeah. So the bar has just been set, and like, dude, Eternals is gonna have to be pretty heavily awesome to top Shang Chi. So far, like, it's gonna have to be dope to top this movie. I think it will as well. So. Listen, I'm actually excited for the Marvel Phase 4 right now. Like, I'm at my peak excitement. Black Widow didn't really excite me for the phase, but it definitely led credence to the Black Widow character. I think it told a good story in its own right. However, it shouldn't have been a Phase 4 movie. Maybe straight to Disney Plus and tell it in sections. I don't care what you did with it, but I'm excited now. I'm excited for Phase 4. Let's go, baby. Galactus is coming.
Let's go. Woo! I know, yeah. Me too, man. Me too. I couldn't agree more.
You can take us out because I can't from here. So.
Oh, right. Yes. Well, guys, as always, we thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget, once you have seen Shang-Chi, if you haven't, to make sure come back, share this video with your friends, share it on social media, give it a like, and join us in the comments and let us know your thoughts on the movie, what you liked, what you didn't like. Again, special thanks and shout out to Showcase, as always, for having us and being a partner and sponsor. We can't thank you enough. There we go. We got that delicious gallon Showcase bucket of popcorn that Ty will be eating for the next few days, as Mark says in the comments. But as always, guys, look, we couldn't do it without you, and we do it for you, and we do it for the culture, and we will see you next time. Peace.